Hey, so I've been meaning to record like a reply to this for a while because I feel like this is better as like a video where I can show you my screen and just talk over it. But yeah. So a little bit ago I did a post about like the Emperor's Coven and what the outfits look like and what the mostly what the armor looks like and what it says about how. By the way, this is about Owl House. This is I'm going to be talking major series spoilers. If you haven't watched Owl House yet, go watch Owl House. Go do that. It's a great time. But I'm talking like spoilers. Go. If you don't want to be spoiled, if you're not already spoiled as is, if you have not been tainted by the knowledge of how bad things are. No. But yeah, seriously, if you haven't watched Owl House, go watch Owl House. Anyways, so I did a post a little bit ago about like the Emperor's Coven designs for like the outfits and for the armor or lack thereof, and kind of what that says about not only like how Bellows thinks of the people under him, but also like how it like just how it reflects how much he doesn't care. I also want to point out that this started off as like a springboard of like, it started off with a tidbit of me finding out that apparently this stuff right here, I have it, this stuff right here, the segmented, like this lower bit, sometimes armor, actually most times armor, tends to actually come in and lay on the waist because that's easier to carry. It's easier to carry something that is resting both on your shoulders and your hips than it is to just carry something via your shoulders or whatever. So a lot of armor tends to have this indent at the waist. It usually has some sort of belt. Sometimes that's functional, sometimes that's decorative, but this specific segmentation of the armor is actually very 1600s, and I liked that was like, I don't know if that was on purpose period accuracy, but it is period accuracy. I don't know why I'm saying it weird like that, but period accuracy. I'm tired. I'm very tired. Anywho, but yeah, so I made a post about like the fact that the majority here. I have a bunch of pictures. These were just some of the concepts. I love some of these concepts that they had for the Emperor's Coven stuff. Some of them I can understand why they didn't go specifically with these ones. Because a lot of them are like far too armored, like a little much. And also like a lot of them are just very detailed, and I think it's better to have a simplistic design, both for animation reasons and also for like just character design reasons. It's a little more, but yeah, I just wanted to throw these in there because friggin' look at this guy. And this guy with his little nose, and these are just some good designs. Not what I would have gone with for the final. I like the final design for the Emperor's Coven outfits. But yeah, if you ever need some like random fantasy dude with vague armor, you look to these designs for inspiration, I suppose. But as you can see with the armor, can I move this? Yes, I can. The majority of Bellos's forces are not armored, like at all. The main ones that are armored are, and these are a lot of different like levels of scout. So this is the main scout. These seem to be guards. This one seems to be a captain, if I'm not mistaken, as do these. They never really clear the ranks, but there's so much like consistency in design and who's doing what and who's saying what. I fully believe there is consistency. It's just maybe never fully spelled out. And I kind of wish it was. I kind of wish they would just be like, yes, the Emperor's Coven, here are all the ranks. Lowly Coven Scout, Captain, Other Captain, Warden. But yeah, anyways, as you can see, the majority of these guys are not armored in any way, shape, or form. They have a chest plate. Again, like the more important they are, aka the harder they would be to replace, they seem to have more armor on them. So like these guys are like pretty high ranking. You don't want to have to replace them very often, so we're gonna slap some metal on here. This right here, this is my, well, sir, that's my emotional support replacement Grimwalker brother stand-in. Of course, and he's made of very rare material, so of course I'm going to armor him. Also, I want to talk about in a minute specifically where the armor is on Hunter, but we're going to talk about that in a second. But, like, yeah, some of them get face protection. It looks armored, but technically you're covering nothing. They seem to have armor here. I assume there's probably a Gambazin or something under here, as is here. They probably have nothing. They're just... they're just left to they have a mask and a cape. That's it. They don't even got a sword. But to be fair, it makes sense that your most of your scouts aren't armed with, you know. And actually, that makes a little. You could argue in a counterpoint that makes a little sense that they're not covered in armor and they don't have physical weapons, because why would they need it? They're magic. What is armor going to do against like a magic blast? Potentially something, but yeah, realistically, probably not a lot. Anyways, but also going back to the design of it, a lot of them have, the closer, the higher up they get bird designs, because bird themology is really big or not themology, but thematicism, whatever, is really big in the Owl House. But also, like, most of these have like a vague Plague Doctor inspired thing. And Belos, the plague happened in, I want to say, the 1300s. So, young Philip probably didn't. I mean, he was pretty young when he started his well, he was in his midlife, I would say, when he started his diary. Well, not midlife, but, 20s and 30s. And he says in the diary, like, the year is 1630 something. So he probably was born in the late 1500s. Which, that's not when the plague happened, but people would definitely know about the plague, and they would know what plague masks look like. Young Philip would definitely know what the plague masks look like. So the fact that they're like this is his forces out to rid the Isles of wild magic, and they're hunting a plague. But I think it also, shows what Belos thinks of his underlings, in that they are witches. They are also the plague, because, spoiler, if you didn't heed my spoiler warning, he's a witch hunter. This has all been a big, massive, elaborate ruse, where witches follow a witch hunter, and it's very scary. Dun, dun, dun. Anyways, so I have a couple things up on here. But yes, them. So, Dyke the witch, but spelled with two V's instead of a W. They responded with a lot of good add-ons. Go read. I'm gonna link my post in the thing, and I'll link to their add-ons in the doobly-doo as well. But they also posed a lot of quandaries, which is why we're really here, about what the fuck is he wearing? Genuinely, functionally, what the fuck is he wearing? Because when he takes the armor off, it's this stuff. And this is a lot. Like, we're working with about 5 layers here. And so classically with armor, you tend to have the general layers you commonly see are some kind of shirt, some kind of Gambazin, which is like a thick shirt. We'll get to talking about a Gambazin more later in a second. Sometimes male, sometimes not male. And then you have your plate armor, which is what this main part is. Do I have a picture of him without the jacket? No, I don't. Okay. Anyways, but this is layer number 1, plate armor. Layer number 2, we'll get to in a second. My final verdict is it's a Gambazin, mostly because, and I don't know why I think this. I don't know if I'm crazy, but every time I see it, not here, but every time I see him in full armor, animated, for some reason I feel like his arms look slightly thicker, which would read as Gambazin. But also, like, what are these? Like, are these pads? But they kind of look like they go over, like, sleeves. And I think the real answer here is this is a cartoon. It is fantasy. While a lot of real world things were taken into account, obviously. We have the pleated stuff here. When designing it, overall, they had to design armor that looked good and not necessarily armor that was 100% functional. So, that could be the overall explanation for everything. But I feel like most likely what's going on here. Let's start from the top. We have one pauldron, a single pauldron, and I like that he doesn't have another one, and design-wise, it's so that Flapjack has a place to sit. I don't know why he doesn't have one initially, though. I assume it's just like, it's his flair. It's his extra bit of flair. It's more armor. Hooray. And then we have what I assume is plate armor. Do I really not have a picture of him without the... I mean, no, not really. Then we have hood, which the fact that his plate are like the pauldron is over the cape and hood just backs up my first explanation of this was designed to look good and not be actually functional, because why would you put a pauldron over your cape? What? It's either like the whole like those military jackets have those straps so that originally in militaries, in actual military uniforms, those are used, you put your bag on them. Like, you strap your bag literally to you. It is a fashion thing is a function thing that became fashion. I think his may also be like, so his cape doesn't fly off him, but that makes no sense. Anyways, but so under that we have plate armor, and I go back and forth between thinking I don't think you would have plate, these little diddlies right here are actually plate armor, because if that was the case, why? You already have the pauldron. Why would you need more plate armor there? Not only that, it would make a place that needs to be kind of bendable completely unbendable. So I'm going to assume this is, I'm going to call this Gambazin number 1. And I think it's a Gambazin that's kind of similar to this, but the sleeves are shorter. So for the uninitiated, Gambazins are this kind of thicker, quilted material that it's not super, it's more movable than chainmail is, but it's much thicker and harder to cut through than what would mostly go directly under your armor, because you usually want a fully covered layer between you and your armor. Armor on skin, hot metal on skin, no es bueno. So I think we have just, this is either shoulder armor or Gambazin number 1, and then I think we have Gambazin number 2, and I think this Gambazin is either one of two things, either a lightweight Gambazin and the whole thing is made of this material, which is backed up by the fact that it does peek through here, and that's what I do think is here. I think it's Gambazin number 2, because he does the same thing, but in reverse for the shirt he has on underneath. But yeah, I think this is all Gambazin. The other option would be this is long sleeves and like a neck part that is movable, and theoretically there would be a thicker Gambazin underneath. So also in theory, this could be part of a Gambazin that is Gambazin 1, and then this is just shirt 1. But like I said, for some reason, I always feel like his arms look thicker when he is wearing this stuff. Like even here, like I think his arm looks pretty thick here. And I don't know why I think that. I really don't know why I think. I'm like, oh yeah, he has the stuff on. His arms look thicker. And I guess it's just because my brain is assuming it's a Gambazin. But anyways, the part that makes the questioning happen, because all of this is normal. All of this is like, yep, checks out. Fucking plate mail, Gambazin, probably something underneath. And then the something underneath is this. Which, this is so much, Hunter. This is so much. By the way, all of the all of the trans hunter headcanoners. I feel like this backs up your boy even more, because this is another Gambazin, by the way. Because what is more trans than wearing 50,000 layers? But yeah, also more armor. I don't think I have another picture. I think it's just this. But yeah, like this is a lot. So this looks to be I want to use this because this is what we actually get in the show. But he's covering it. Stop pouting. But this looks to be like a leather vest thing, not like a corset, because I don't think it has boning, but I do think these different colors are where the seams are. So seam, opening, and seam, and then this. So this, and honestly, that would provide quite a bit of protection. I just think it's a lot. In addition to a Gambazin. And also potentially a lot with 2 Gambazins. And then he just has a normal shirt underneath, and that has a little tail. He has a little tail in the front. He has a little tail in the back. Tail number 1 coming from Gambazin number 2, or possibly just the Gambazin, and then tail number 2 coming at the. And honestly, like, good on Hunter. He doesn't leave any of his when in full armor, like he really doesn't leave any of his vitals open. It's pretty much just his arms and legs. And that thought led me to another thought. Because, yeah, this is all vitals, but there's one vital in specific that Belos has a hard time getting a hold of. And that's that Golderstone heart right there. All of the context clues lead to, like, Belos can't really find Golderstone hearts anymore. That's what I gathered from all the other stuff. Like, I know he says, I don't want to make one until I'm done with this one, but I feel like that's just him being too proud to admit, yeah, I can't find another Golderstone. But I feel like at the very least, even if he does have another Golderstone, they are difficult to find, they are in low source, and he might need to be reusing them. And so he makes sure that prototype number, who knows how many, of Grimwalkers he has a lot of chest protection. Many, many layers. So many layers of chest protection to make sure that that Golderstone heart is not damaged. And I feel like he learned that the hard way, because if you look at the predecessors, we just have the mask. We had nothing. Both of them, nothing. So those are probably 2 Golderstones he lost. So, yeah, I think he learned the hard way. Hey, maybe reduce, reuse, recycle. In a terrible, horrifying way. Also, I saved this one because I want to point out, also, see, I feel like I'm correct because, look, his arms look thicker here, and I know you're just like, oh no, that's the potion thing. Yes, it is, except he's also wearing his Gambazin underneath there, which probably means he's also wearing shirt and also, like, leather vest thing. Shirt, leather vest, Gambazin main, number 1, number 2, main Gambazin, with the sleeves, and then more sleeves and pants. Boy, overheating. But I also see a little bit why going on a design way and not deconstructing his armor. Going, like, design-wise, I can understand why you wanted to have this kind of, like, this underneath that. Because this, it's mysterious, it's vaguely threatening, you're unsure of things, you can't see his face, all of him is armored. Gilded. He looks gilded. The Gilded Guard. And then underneath you have this kind of, it looks like a fantasy peasant boy vibe. Like, that's what the vibe is going, and they continued that vibe. Wait, go back. Into, this thing, it's still like a fantasy peasant boy vibe. He's just a guy. He's just some dude. Underneath all this armor, he's just some dude in a fantasy world. Look at him. He's a little fantasy boy. He's a little fantasy man. Also, I just saved this picture partly because it's adorable, but also because it shows, like, yeah, this is the shirt he's clearly wearing under all this, and we see it again here. So it's just like a shirt. So I mean, the good news is at least he takes off his armor sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. That was my whole thing. The new episode is premiering in, I can do math. I can't do math, but it's premiering in less than an hour. So, I think my two predictions, one related, one not related. My related prediction is that the main reason Belos kind of comes back out of the woodwork and maybe might go after any of them, but specifically Hunter, is because he needs that Golderstone heart to make him not be goop anymore. That's my prediction. I know this isn't a prediction video. I don't even know what kind of video this is. This is talking about Hunter's armor. What the fuck is he wearing? But my other prediction is there's a line in the promos that's just like, did you know he was here? Said by Hunter in a really hurt tone. And I feel like that's directed at Flapjack. That's my fear. My fear is Flapjack maybe didn't know, maybe he knew. I don't know. I don't want them to fight. I don't want them to fight. Fear. I don't want them to fight. Anyways, I'm very tired. I have food waiting for me. And that was my armor rant. The character design in this show is really good. It is better than the energy I gave this video. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. No. I think I covered pretty much everything. But yeah. You stop wearing so many layers. You better stay the fuck alive.